Have you ever stopped to think about the sheer amount of choreography involved in buying a cup of coffee or checking into a hotel?
It's fascinating, isn't it? We tend to think of these daily interactions as mundane, almost automatic. But when you strip them down, especially when you're learning a new language, you realize they are actually complex social dances.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes performance. One wrong move or one wrong word, and suddenly you've ordered fish instead of steak, or you're on a train going the wrong direction.
And that is exactly what we are diving into today. We are looking at a collection of scenarios, from a romantic dinner gone slightly wrong to a crisis at a police station. On the surface, these are simple English beginner conversations, but if we look closer, they reveal the blueprint of how humans connect, solve problems, and navigate the world.
And what really struck me about the material we're looking at today is how much of it revolves around the unexpected. It's not just, hello, how are you? It's, hello, you lost my luggage, or hello, I think you made a mistake on the bill.
Which is where the real learning happens. So stick around, because by the end of this episode, you might just look at your next trip to the supermarket or your next doctor's appointment as a philosophical exercise in survival.
Let's start with the most universal setting for social anxiety and pleasure, the restaurant. We have a couple, let's call them the date night duo. They go to a place called the Rolling Pin.
A classic setup. But notice the immediate tension. The husband is late, he needs a shower, the wife is already managing the kids. It feels very real. But the core of this interaction is the lucky mistake.
The steak versus the fish.
Right. The husband orders steak. The waiter brings fish. Now, in a language learning context, this is a nightmare scenario. You doubt yourself. Did I say steak? Did I pronounce it wrong?
But the way they handle it is a masterclass in soft skills. They don't get angry. They politely point out the error. I think there is a small mistake.
And look at the payout. Because they handled the conflict with grace, they didn't just get the right steak, they got free cocktails. On the house. That phrase alone is worth its weight in gold. It transforms a transaction into a relationship.
It really does. It reframes the error. And then, just when you think the drama is over, we get the garlic bread mystery at the end of the meal.
Oh, I love that detail. The bill comes and there's a charge for garlic bread they didn't order.
It's funny because the husband asks, "Did you eat it alone?" It adds this layer of playful suspicion. But again, it highlights a crucial part of dining out, the administrative side, checking the bill, negotiating the exit.
It shows that fluency isn't just about ordering food, it's about auditing the experience. If you can't argue a bill, you aren't fully independent in that language yet.
True. Now, let's shift gears from the restaurant to the realm of travel. We have scenarios at the hotel, the airport, and the railway station.
The holy trinity of travel stress.
The hotel check-in seemed smooth enough, but the airport scenario, that was a twist. The flight is overbooked.
This is a pivotal moment in any traveler's life. The airline asks for volunteers to bump their flight. Now, most people view this as a disaster. I need to get there now. But the characters in our material? They saw an opportunity.
They took the vouchers, the free hotel stay, and they turned it into an unexpected adventure.
Precisely. It's a lesson in cognitive reframing. Language allows you to negotiate your reality. If you understand the offer, free tickets, meal vouchers, you can turn a delay into a bonus vacation. If you don't understand the announcement, you're just sitting at the gate, angry and confused.
That's a profound point. Comprehension literally buys you freedom. And speaking of freedom, let's talk about the supermarket scenario. Did you notice the technology involved there?
The smart cart. That felt like a glimpse into the near future. The cart is guiding them, suggesting recipes, pointing out discounts.
It was almost like a third character in the conversation. The cart says there's a discount on tomatoes. It changes the dynamic. You aren't just wandering aisles, you are interacting with an algorithm.
But notice, even with the smart cart, the human element remains. They still have to agree on the menu. Should we try this recipe? Yes, let's get strawberries. Technology aids the decision, but the social bond, cooking together, eating together, that's still the human core.
It's interesting you mention the human core, because we also saw a scenario at the library. Two students working on a recycling project.
That was a shift from transactional English to collaborative English. They weren't buying anything. They were building something.
They were hunting for information. Visuals will make our presentation more interesting. That's a higher level of communication. It's not just, I want this, it's, how do we make this better?
And the topic, recycling, is significant. It introduces vocabulary about responsibility, environment, and systems. It's not just personal needs, it's global needs. When you learn a language, you eventually graduate from feed me to let's save the planet.
That's a beautiful progression. But we have to address the darker side of these scenarios. Not everything is happy smart carts and tiramisu. We had a visit to the police station.
The stolen bike. This is where language becomes a tool for justice, or at least restitution.
The specificity required there was intense. You can't just say, my bike is gone. You have to say, blue mountain bike, black seat, silver handlebars, serial number 12345AB.
Exactly. In that moment, adjectives aren't just decorations, they are evidence. If you can't describe the scratch on the left side of the frame, you might never see that bike again. It shows that precision in language is a form of power.
It really raises the stakes. And then, almost as a counterbalance to that stress, we have the scene at the bar, the celebration.
This calls for a celebration. A new job, it's the closing of a loop. We struggle, we work, we deal with stolen bikes and wrong orders, and then we gather to toast. Cheers to new beginnings.
It's the ritual of acknowledgement. And I noticed in the workplace scenario, there was a similar vibe. The boss telling the employees, focus on it completely, and I look forward to it. It's the language of expectation and motivation.
The workplace dialogue was very structural. It was about hierarchy and duty. Did you finish the report? The manager wants to see us. It's a different rhythm than the coffee shop. Catch up.
Speaking of the coffee shop, that accidental meeting, Sarah, is that you? Is such a classic trope.
It is. The small talk surprise. It's one of the hardest things for beginners because it's unscripted. You're just grabbing a cappuccino and suddenly you have to summarize your life, your job, and your emotional state in 30 seconds.
And yet, it's the glue of society. If you can't do that, you remain isolated.
Precisely. The text we analyzed covers the full spectrum of human need. Physiological, food and shelter, safety, the police and hospital, love and belonging, the date, the family movie night, esteem, the job promotion, and self-actualization, the library project learning about nature.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but explained through English conversation scripts.
You could say that. And I want to go back to the hospital scene for a second. It was very short, but very potent. I've been having some headaches.
Vulnerability.
Yes. In a restaurant, if you make a mistake, you get fish. In a hospital, if you communicate poorly, your health is at risk. The doctor's instructions, take it with food, drink plenty of water, are non-negotiable. It reminds us that listening is just as important, if not more so, than speaking.
That's a great distinction. In the restaurant, the couple was talking to the waiter. In the hospital, the patient is listening to the authority. The power dynamic shifts the language.
And think about the home scenario with the kids. Helping with homework. I'm stuck on this one.
The math problem.
Right. The older brother helps the younger sister. You just need to multiply these numbers. It's mentorship. It's the language of care. It's not transactional like the shop, and it's not high stakes like the police. It's intimate.
It's the safe zone. Just like the gardening scene at school. Planting seeds.
Oh, I love the metaphor there. Sunflowers can take a few weeks to sprout. Tomatoes might take a bit longer.
It felt like a metaphor for learning the language itself, didn't it?
Absolutely. You plant the vocabulary, you water it with practice, like the watch the video for 1 week instruction at the end of the text, and you have to be patient. You can't force the tomato to grow, and you can't force fluency overnight.
But you have to avoid overwatering them, as the teacher said.
Which, in our context, might mean don't burn yourself out. Don't stress so much about the grammar that you kill the joy of communication.
That is such a crucial takeaway. We've looked at maybe 10 or 12 different microworlds today, from the rolling pin restaurant to the police station desk. If you had to identify one thread that ties them all together, what would it be?
I think it's the concept of agency. In every single story, the characters are using words to change their situation. They are hungry, so they order. They are lost, so they ask. They are wronged, so they report. They are happy, so they celebrate. Language isn't just describing the world, it's acting upon it.
That's powerful. It transforms the learner from a passive observer into an active participant. You aren't just watching the movie, you are in the movie.
Exactly. And even when things go wrong, like the garlic bread or the stolen bike, the act of speaking is the act of solving.
It makes me think about the I Love My Wife Day from the very beginning. It was a made-up holiday,
A complete fabrication.
but it became real because he said it. He spoke it into existence to make his wife feel special. That is the ultimate creative power of language.
And it set the tone for the whole evening. It proves that attitude, combined with vocabulary, creates the atmosphere.
So, for our listeners, when they hear these simple dialogues, can I get a table for two? Or, where is the elevator? They shouldn't just hear utility. They should hear the keys to unlocking the world.
Every phrase is a key. The more keys you have, the more doors you can open. It's that simple.
And sometimes those doors lead to free cocktails if you're lucky.
Or a free hotel stay if you volunteer at the airport.
Exactly. Life favors the communicative.
It really does.
As we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a thought. We saw the couple at the restaurant turn a mistake into a memory. We saw the travelers turn a delay into an adventure.
It suggests that the goal of learning English or any language isn't to be perfect, it's to be adaptable.
Right? The script didn't say the perfect dinner. It showed a messy, funny, real dinner.
So, here is the question for you to carry with you today. The next time you are in a conversation and you stumble, or the wrong plate arrives, or you feel that panic rising, can you use that moment? Can you turn the wrong order into the best mistake ever?
Because that is where the real story begins. Not in the textbook, but in the improvisation.
The magic is in the mess.
Thank you for joining us on this tour of everyday architecture. We hope you listen a little differently next time you order a coffee.
Keep planting those seeds and watch them grow.
See you next time.
Goodbye.